Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation of the Independent Learning Unit reflecting on work placement, which is a module which is covered instead of doing SC2. Now, just to let you know, my name is Ian Wilson. As you can see here, the virtual version of myself, or digital version of myself, and I'm going to be your module tutor and module leader and module everything on this module to help you through the course, the module. Now, just to let you know, there is no direct teaching involved in this module, but there are there is time available for you to have one-to-one tutorials with me, which we can do virtually over the internet or via phone, so you are fully prepared for the actual the module. So what we're going to start off with, so I have this thing that all of a sudden every time I go onto this module it starts to zip through, but I've caught it in time. I've had about 8 recordings of this so far. So okay then, so let's go through this module. So the first thing is, like I said, the purpose of this module is to replace SE2 so that you can gain 20 credits that will add onto, so you got the full 120 credits leading into the third year, whichever you may decide to do. It is a written assignment. It's 2,000 words long, written in an academic way, so it needs to have reading associated and following the normal academic conventions. It will be submitted on Turnitin, and I will be marking all 3 of them, and I'll have Peter second marking them for me. 100% of the mark for this module is assigned to the assignment, so it will be graded in the usual way, 40 plus to pass, and then the normal grades beyond that. Okay then. So what does the module involve? Right, so there's 2 aspects of this module and its assignment. One is reflection and one is a work placement, and I'm going to take the second one first. I'm going to talk about the work placement first. So what is this work placement? So essentially, this could be any time when you have worked with children in any capacity. So it could be one of your previous placements, it could be pre-coursework or a job that you've done beforehand, it could be jobs that you've run after school clubs, it could be Camp America, it could be working on a cruise liner, it could be absolutely anything that you wish to talk about. If you're not too sure, if you have some ideas and you want to have that discussion with me, then send me an email or a chat in Teams, and I'll be able to discuss it with you and say which one is the better, or consider this, that and the other. Okay then, so what is reflective writing? Now, just to let you know, all these slides are actually taken from a document that I've uploaded to the Teams area. We don't have a Moodle area for it at the moment, but if we do get one, I'll create it and upload anything up there. But in the meantime, they're all in Teams. So reflective writing is quite personal. It's that time when you're looking back on something and you're analyzing what happened and you're thinking very carefully about that and then moving forward with it. So it's a lot more personal than other forms of academic writing. Reflective writing, you are allowed to use personal pronouns. You are allowed to say, I felt this, etc., etc. And what we really want you to do is to almost like evaluate or analyze what you saw, what you did, and reflect on that as if you're looking back on it, taking that outside view, looking in and sort of think, yeah, it was good how I did that, or how I did this, and this is how I'm going to actually take it forward. So you can see here, I'm just hiding part of the reference, so don't worry. I've given you an example of reflective writing. So specific tasks are shared out amongst members of my team. Initially, however, the tasks were not seen as equally difficult by all team members. Cooperation between group members was at risk because of this perception of unfairness. Social independence theory recognizes a type of group interaction called positive interdependence, meaning cooperation. Johnson & Johnson 1993, cited in Horn and Webb 2001. And many studies have demonstrated that cooperative learning experiences encourage higher achievement. Ultimately, our group achieved a successful outcome, but to improve the process, we perhaps needed a chairperson to help encourage cooperation when tasks were being shared out. In future, group work on the course and at work could probably suggest this. Okay, so you can see that it started off with the situation, it then engaged with it, and then it looked to the future. And that's roughly the procedure that you're going to almost like write about. So that structure is almost like the description, then the interpretation, then the outcome. Now what you're going to do is think about themes that you want to cover. And within each theme, you're going to talk about the description, the interpretation, and then the outcome. Okay, so this isn't the format of the whole assignment. This is the format with the structure with within each theme that you sort of like want to go with. So the description is basically, this is the shortest part of the section. If you find that you are spending too long on this, then your writing is becoming too descriptive and you need to cut it down. So basically you're going to tell me what happened and what is being examined. And what I've done here is that I've cut and pasted the bits from the previous slide in here so you can see what it actually relates to. Now remember that these are themes, and 3 or 4 sentences are probably fine in that section. So this is the most important section, the interpretation. This is when you link it to theory. This is how you say it's different from others. This is when you get into maybe what's the same and what's different here, whether or not it agrees with theoretical frameworks, whether or not it doesn't. And you're probably thinking now, good grief, what am I going to write about? But don't worry, I've got a slide coming up on themes. But you really want to be able to engage with literature, and that should be at a level 5 standard. So books, yes, but you know, also look ahead to journals, electronic journals, like you did, like you had in Claire's lecture. Okay, then finally, this idea, reflecting back on it, what have you learned from it all? What does this mean for the future? And this is when you sort of like unpick it all and say, okay, then that was the situation. This is what happened. This is how it links to theory. So what? What comes next? And this is when you sort of like get into that idea and start to consider what going forward, what would you be doing? Now, this doesn't have to be going forward working with children. I will be. It could be just personal for yourself in any role that you have in the future. Okay then, so when you go off and start to plan your submission, what I would consider are areas which you would like to cover in your reflection. So start to sort of like think of your area. So say, for example, it's a previous job that you had. Start to brainstorm what you could write about within that placement. Just 1 second. Sorry, that was my phone going off. I'm just going to turn it off. I do apologize for that. Start to think of the themes you're going to cover, and this will allow you to brainstorm all your sort of like ideas together, and then think, what are you going to pull out of these themes? You know, what is going to be the important description, interpretation, and outcome? Now, don't forget, your first element will be an introduction. Okay, so you will write an introduction, in which case you, just like usual, you'll express the purpose of the assignment and signpost the content of it as well. And then finally, your conclusion is probably linking it all together and summarizing your reflection, what you have learned and what you will take forward with it. Okay then, so what could the themes be? Well, this is really and truly up to you. And the only thing that I would say to you is ensure that you support your discussion with reading. So what I would do is start to plan out those themes and then go off and start to read and see what information you can find to them. Now, in order to give you some information, you could consider any of the following. So you could consider learning, you know, whether or not it was outdoor, experiential, purposeful, collaborative. You could talk about teaching, how this was achieved, how it was supported. You could talk about behavior management of the children, whether or not it was effective, was it different from the classroom, etc. How the situation, the placement was organized, was that beneficial, was it not beneficial? It could even talk about informal assessment in the sense that how did you pick up where children were in learning and then take it on. Now, the placement could be anything that you want, so it might not actually be to do with children, but I'm assuming that it probably will be in some role, mainly because that's what you're familiar with, and you don't want to start to have to look ahead and start talking about marketing and things like that. Okay then, so what do you have support from me? Well, once you've created a plan for the assessment, once you've done that, then what I would like you to do is arrange an online tutorial to discuss it with me. So what you'll do is plan it out and then send it to me, and then we can have a meeting where we can discuss this between us, and then I can point you in the right direction. There might be some reading I can recommend to you or give you some support with it. Remember, I am the module tutor and the director for this, so any questions come straight to me, please, and I will be marking your assignments, and then Peter is likely to second mark them for me as well. Now, this is a new module for you, and I would strongly recommend that you ask as many questions as you possibly can. The submission date will be something that you will be asking me for, and just to let you know that I'm currently in discussion with Peter about this. We don't want it to hit your others, and so we're just trying to get an overview where everything's coming in, because obviously things like the science has to be moved. It can't be across that whole period. There's no SOTs, so we want to space them out for you. But do keep an eye open on the Teams chat, and then I can actually tell you it in there. If you do have any other questions at all, then please do send them to me. I am more than happy to have a chat with you and to, you know, help you out with this. So I hope that's been helpful, and yeah, I look forward to working with you on this alternative module. And remember, all the information, the PowerPoint and the guide to reflective writing are all up in the Teams chat in the file section at the moment. So yeah, stay in touch, and I hope this is helpful. And until next time, you know, look after yourself and stay healthy. See you all later. Bye.